My name is Eldridge Williams. I'm looking for $750,000 to help fund a new brick and mortar.
Welcome to Fun Tank. Today we have some awesome entrepreneurs that are going to pitch their companies, how they got started, where they are, but most importantly, where they want to go. On top of that, I want to help them get the funding that they need to unlock their growth and take their companies to the next level.
I'm Lynn Smith, national media expert and also podcast host. I want other people to understand their story and how powerful it is. So I'm going to show these contestants how to sell their story to Joe.
I'm Bianca D'Alessio, founder of the Masters Division at Nest Seekers International. I want to make sure that they have the right foundation, the right support, and the right infrastructure to support all of their expansion goals.
Fun Tank is presented by National Business Capital. To work with Joe's team, go to nationalbusinesscapital.com/funtank.
So in this next episode of Fun Tank, we have a really cool restaurateur named Eldridge who owns an awesome restaurant called The Delta. It's got a really cool vibe, it's got a great fan base. He wants to scale and bring this thing to the next level and open up multiple locations. But before we run into multiple locations, I want to understand what's going on with the current location.
Hello everyone, my name is Eldridge Williams. I am the owner of The Delta, a restaurant and bar located in Chicago, Illinois, and I'm looking for $750,000 to help fund and push my brand and hopefully open up another brick and mortar.
I was going to say, hopefully you have a brand because you have a personality.
Yeah.
Big time, I love it. I feel the energy.
Thank you,
Awesome.
appreciate that. Yes.
Well, welcome to Fun Tank, Eldridge.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so give us a little background about you, how
Yes.
you got started. And
Absolutely. I've been in hospitality for 25 years, and I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I moved to Chicago in 2003 and continued my career in hospitality. And along that journey, I was fortunate enough to be able to open up my first brick and mortar, which is called The Delta. So The Delta is modeled after the Mississippi Delta. It is inspired by the culture of the Mississippi Delta. And me personally being from Memphis and having family from Mississippi, it was a very easy process for me to be able to tap into a culture that I was very familiar with and that I loved and introduced that to Chicago. And we just celebrated our 6th year anniversary on September 10th.
good stuff, man. I mean, you made it through COVID.
By the grace of God.
Yeah.
Yes, it wasn't easy. But
A lot of us, by the grace of God.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them don't make it that far, so that definitely speaks about your business, which is great.
Thank you.
Well, why'd you want to open up your own restaurant?
That's a good question. A question I often ask myself. As we all know, the margins are slim.
Yeah.
It's very risky, obviously. I've been doing it for so long, and I'm really good at it, and it makes me happy. And you know,
I love that answer right there. Keep going, but that was.
thinking back on like my ideas of what I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to do something that I feel as I was passionate about, that represented me. Yes.
What makes the Delta unique, you know, special, different?
But when you come into the Delta, you're gonna get a very specific experience that you're not gonna get anywhere else. And that's what's kept us going for this long. We have a cult following, people love what we do, and I have a brand and an idea and a product that is scalable. And that's one of the other reasons why I'm here. You know, I wanted to be able to create a brand that is scalable enough to where I can have multiple ones, but also not mess up the culture, not dilute the culture. And that's in the people that I employ. And that's one great thing about the Delta. I have an awesome team behind me. I'm here because my team is back in Chicago handling their business. A lot of the way I move and my success is because of my team. I have very dedicated people. My heads are my rock. We're all drinking from the same Kool-Aid. We're all about this Delta thing, and they're gonna ride with me to the end. And we're very service focused, and it matters. You know, even me speaking here, this opportunity is very important, and I wanna make sure that I leave here you know, and you guys' good grace, whether you give me money or not. But I want the money.
Mission accomplished. You pointed it out. The business is slim margins.
Yes,
Is your
yes,
business slim margins?
We are not profitable currently. I will say that with all honesty. We opened in September of 2017. So that first few months we were open, we did a little under $500,000, okay? 2018, 2019 were our biggest years. We did 1.2 million, all right? Then COVID happened, and 2021, 2022 has been a slow crawl, okay? I have not had a profitable year. My beverage costs 17 to 20%. Food costs, we keep it at 30. It trends up and down depending on when gas goes up, food goes up. You know, my burger's already 21 bucks. Can't charge people much more for that. So it's a lot of, you know, it's a balancing act.
What type of like restaurant is it?
So,
yeah.
Glad you asked. So the Delta is modeled after the Mississippi Delta. So we specialize in a specific region from the Mississippi. There's one very important culinary product that comes from the Mississippi Delta that a lot of people are familiar with, and that's tamales. But a lot of people are not familiar of the history of tamales. When you think of tamales, you think of a Mexican cuisine. But in the Mississippi Delta, it is not Mexicans that do tamales. It's African Americans that do the tamales. Plantation owners would bring in Mexican laborers to work in the cotton fields. They would work alongside the African Americans. Those Mexican laborers would travel with tamales and coffee cans because they were easily sustainable and they traveled well. And the African Americans started to utilize whatever resources that they had to replicate the flavors. I wanted something original. I needed an angle. I needed a story.
Yeah.
But then once I came across a story with tamales, I was like, yo, that's my angle. That's how I can make it original. So I was very fortunate to be able to like come across this story, and we were able to build a concept off of it. And it's great.
I love the story.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love the story too, and you alluded to the experience, and I am an experiential buyer in everything I do. So I want you to walk me through what the experience is coming into your restaurant.
Absolutely.
Like from the moment at the curb, what I'm experiencing.
Absolutely. So when you come into the Delta, you know, it's going to feel like you belong. You can feel it in the energy in the space. We play a lot of blues, play a lot of soul, hip hop, gospel. We have people in there, they'll be praising God one moment and then twerking the next. It's wild. And
Sounds like a good time.
It's a great time. You know, we've created an experience where we check a lot of boxes, and it all happens simultaneously. And it's not
So you
something.
have a nightlife component as well.
Absolutely. I mean, liquor pays the bills.
Okay,
Like,
I'm just
yeah. Come on, yes.
Just asking.
100%. Yes, we have an extremely bustling beverage program.
Great.
Everything in the Delta is an experience. Most of our plates and glassware, I get them at thrift stores. Nothing matches. You know, and people are just like eating off of these, and they're just, yo, my mom had this, my grandmother had this, you know. It gives people this sense of just nostalgia. We even sell large format cocktails in flower vases. We call them Delta bouquets.
I want one of those cocktails right now.
Yes.
You said that the business is scalable. Why is it scalable?
Tamales. The margins are great on the tamales. It doesn't cost much to make them. It's a part of our brand, core part of our brand. And we made that product scalable, and it's extremely consistent. We got our entire menu down to less than 30 ingredients. Shout out George. He creates all the tasty foods and cuisine. So this is ground zero. We try to make whatever changes we can to make this scalable, so where we can just copy paste and put it somewhere else.
And here's what I think is different about just, I want to open another restaurant, is you. Your brand, the possibility to take the tamales that they can end up in a Whole Foods with your branding on it. You know Pinky Cole and Slutty Vegan?
What she's done is remarkable. It's insane.
But you can be that.
Yeah.
She IPO'd. I mean, like, you can do that because she had a story, she had a brand, and she had the product. And that's what I see in this.
Wow.
I appreciate that.
Let's talk about the numbers.
Yes.
And appreciate hearing the story. It sounds
you.
exciting. Next
appreciate
time I go to Chicago.
I can't wait to go.
I want to go to the Delta. Yeah, I'm excited.
Follow you on Instagram. Yes, I do big enough.
So what did you do in sales last year?
So last year I did a little over 933,000 in revenue.
And were you profitable last year?
I was not profitable in 2020. We had an income loss of about $78,000.
Okay. And what about this year? What are you on pace for?
This year, 2023, I say we're gonna break $1 million for sure.
Okay.
Yes,
Got
for
it.
sure.
Why do you think last year, because you know, leading up to COVID, you know, you did over $1 million. Why do you think in 2022 you didn't break $1 million or bounce back? It seems like you got all the stuff that's following great place. What do you think is restricting it?
The climate has definitely shifted with the terms of how consumers eat and dine and go out and drink. So that's one. You know, I think the amount of money that people are spending on a day-to-day when they go out and eat, that's another. And our hours of operation changed. Before COVID, we were open 7 days a week. When we reopened for COVID, we only opened for 5 days and we reduced our hours. We just added extra Tuesdays, you know, to the schedule about 4 months ago. We also weren't doing Saturday and Sunday lunch and brunch right out the bat as well. So it was just a slow crawl. We are looking to get back to the old days where we're all open 7 days a week. So we're paying to be open, so we might as well be open, and just really take advantage of those moments that we're not generating revenue.
Yeah.
On Sunday nights, we close at 6 o'clock on Sundays. However, we are open till 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. But if you know to be there. We've created this energy on Sunday nights and people will pull up from all over. I don't even advertise it on our social media. And we pack the place out for like 5 hours. It's bustling. We have a pretty good regular fan base, right? We got a lot of regulars. We're in the neighborhood. And that's one of the things that get us through our winters. There's regulars that were single when they started coming there. Now they're married with kids. They don't come as much anymore.
Yeah.
Like there's so many, there's so many things
to get the new generation.
To consider. So, but there's always going to be another couple that comes in that don't have any kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's the big picture plan? Like, where do you really want to take this thing? How do you envision it?
So,
how many locations? Where do you see the business in the next 2 years, 5 years, and 10 years?
So I can answer that in 3 parts. So one, catering. So it's a revenue stream that we haven't fully tapped into, but we've seen the benefits of it. 2, you mentioned tamales in stores. That has always been something that I envision happening in the future for sure. 3, in the next 2 years, I would like to have one other brick and mortar going and maybe another one on the horizon. That's realistic.
With your type of business, the size of it, right? The real way to win is multiple locations. I think the way you're thinking, adding catering, these things are helpful, right? Good profit margins, could that bring you from 1 to 1.2 to 1.5? That's a big difference. It's a huge increase in your sales. But if you're not thinking about multiple restaurants, you're only usually gonna be able to pull, so much out of one. And the companies that really do well where it's one restaurant is usually fine dining and it's big and they're very, it's overpriced food and they're doing, a lot of parties, a lot of corporate events, and they're making serious dollars. Maybe they're adding weddings into that mix. These different size restaurants, they're all different games and you have to really understand the game. So right now, $750,000, what do you do with that? What does that get you?
So I'm pretty well versed on what it costs to open up a place. And I'm speaking in the market of Chicago. If I did another one in Chicago, there's only 1 or 2 areas that I would want to do it at.
Where are those?
So right now we're in Wicker Park. So I would either do one on like Hyde Park, Bronzeville area of Chicago, or I'll do one in the suburbs. So that's Chicago. Outside of Chicago, my top 3, Nashville being one, cash cow.
Yeah, it's a nonstop party.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Detroit, possibly. Detroit has a extremely growing hospitality scene. And 3rd, I would say maybe Denver.
So the money is to go open up another location?
Yes. 9 times out of 10, I would probably get a 2nd generation location.
Do you have any equity partners?
So I have one partner, direct partner, silent partner, co-owner with me, so he doesn't handle any operations.
I appreciate all the
Absolutely.
The info. Let us chat, and then we're gonna come right back to you, okay? So what'd you guys think?
People buy a story, and this is a story I want to buy. He's the main character, I'm in, his vibe is there, and I think that that's what a lot of people are going to be attracted to.
I mean, I felt his energy as soon as he came out, and I'm such a big energy person, and I think that's so important, especially in the restaurant and hospitality industry. And you're the numbers person here. I don't see how the numbers fully work.
The amount of money he's requesting is almost the amount of money that he's doing in gross revenue.
Yeah.
So the reality is the business as it stands right now is really won't be able to support that amount of money, and that's what concerns me. It's going to be a real fight for him to really scale. It's not going to be easy, but getting to multiple locations will change really everything for him. It's a hard road. It's not easy.
Based on what you heard, is there a dollar amount that you could give him today based on his numbers?
You know, the 100 to 200 grand is probably reality.
But I think with 100 or two, sorry for interrupting, he doesn't even have the opportunity to open a new location. Really, how do you reinvest that in the current location to make it more profitable, whether it be going from 5 to 7 days, so then it changes the whole scale of the economics for location 2?
Is there anything that you can do right now to get this company to a higher level? Yeah.
A membership to get into their club.
Sunday night.
Catering, events,
Right.
like different things. Like where's the money?
Yeah, before you jump into another location.
Yeah, how do you get this current location up to 1.5 to $2 million? Yeah, I think he really needs to match his vibe and personality to a business model that works and is extremely profitable.
The business needs to have that vibe. The model has to have that vibe, just
absolutely.
like he does.
Yep. So Eldridge, you have the personality, the brand, like the vibe and the style, like what you've created, it sounds unique.
You'll see us soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yes.
And I think you need to have a feature on Food Network, having people show what it is your personality is. And then I think, and this is more Joe's department, but I think you need to figure out first, how can you get those margins up higher so that before you open a second location, you've proven out.
Are there really rooms for improvement in the current location? And then move to that second one? I'd hate to see, like I've seen others, just jump into the next one and the next one. They never figure out the first one, and then it all blows up. So I don't want to see that happen. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you, I think what's necessary.
Absolutely.
And it's all with intention, to help you grow. So, do you think that there's room to get your current business, like the sales really increase? You talked about catering, these different things. What do you think catering would add to the business right now?
So a full fiscal year of catering, we estimated that we can bring in $75,000 to $100,000 easy.
I think right now, just based on what we went over at a very high level, 100, 200K is probably reality. But what is that going to do for you, right? If we did do that, can that help you, launch catering? Can that help you do something in the business that's really going to drive revenue? We need to work more together on like what the real plan is, what the big picture is. And the reality of we do all types of deals at my company, National Business Capital. We work with companies that do $1 million in revenue. We work with companies that do $50 million in revenue. And they're buying companies and they're piecing together. They're working with a senior lender. We're coming in for some junior debt. They've got private equity in the mix. So some of the best, most seasoned people that have a lot of money are having to piece together deals because that's the type of market that we're in.
Right.
So I want to help you think about this and think it through a little bit more and talk it through. Because in order to get these next location, that second one, and probably get up to 5 or 6, you're gonna have to really strategize here and move the chessboard around a little bit and piece together different parts of funding. My goal is not to put people out of business. I want to help people really grow and scale.
Yes, awesome. I appreciate that.
It's so awesome to meet you.
Thanks for coming out.
Joe mentioned that he's willing to work with me in the range of 100 to 200K. Gave me very specific, recommendations and advice that was just pertain to my business model, like figuring out how to make improvements in my current location, to help put me in a better position so when I do open up another location, just those specific things, it's key. I'm not looking for someone just to write a check and be like, go with God. I want resources with that money. It's knowing that someone really sees my vision and that they want to be a part of what I'm doing. I'm going to take advantage of every opportunity because this year is very important. And I appreciate being here. It's been a great experience.
There's nothing I love to see more than energy radiating out of an entrepreneur when they talk about their business. When Eldridge was talking about building and growing the Delta, it just radiated from him. I was experiencing it in real time. I felt the cocktail in my hand and I wanted to taste the menu. That is what you want from a restaurateur. The hardest thing to do is match a big brand with a business model.
Fun Tank is presented by National Business Capital. To work with Joe's team, go to nationalbusinesscapital.com/funtank.